And I'll just underscore that one thing you said about we're really just asking people to consider adding one step to what they're already doing. Everybody's already banking, but you could add one step to what you're already doing and then retain the power of your earnings for the rest of your life instead of it evaporating with that $7,000 purchase here or the $20,000 purchase here or the 17-cent banana over here or whatever it happens to be. You could retain the power of the dollars that you earn. I love that.
You know what's funny? When we were in Colombia, you know Trisha.
Yep.
Trisha, we didn't realize how bad her eyes were. And, we had conversations with her. She got them fixed. Now she's got 20/10 vision from somebody that really couldn't see. But she said something on a Nelson Nuggets, which I now use. And we go through and become practitioners. And it's like getting a PhD. You know everything. Now you're going to go to a college and you're going to teach it. But what happens, they put us in a 6th grade classroom. And how do you take from what's up here that you know to somebody that really doesn't know? You can't teach them calculus. They need to understand, what multiplication is. And I learned, I guess, the hard way, it's just what you have to do to simplify. Because I tried to tell them and you think they get it, they don't. So what we tell everyone, look, this is what you do right now. And I tell them, we get to talk in front of a group because we have booths. He gives you like 90 seconds to talk about what you do. So I always tell them, I'm going to tell you in 90 seconds what infinite banking is. And you'll understand it. And they do. Right now, you get income, you put it in a commercial bank. Then you start writing checks or taking money out to pay debts, to pay expenses, to buy things, and to make investments. Problem is, you've only accomplished those goals, but your money's gone forever. But they know how to do that. They know how to do it. It just doesn't work. And I tell them that. You know how to do it, yeah, but it's not working the way you want. So what I want you to do is just one thing more. And I've used this over the years, but now I've gotten better at explaining it. I want you to take the money. Of course, it's got to go in a commercial bank first. But I say, I want you to take that money and I want you to put it in your banking policy. Then we're going to borrow against your collateral. You're going to collateralize your bank. We're going to put it into your bank and just do what you're doing. You're going to pay your debts, expenses, buy things, and make investments. Why did I tell you to do that? Because now if somebody T-bones you when you're coming home and you get killed, your family's getting the tax-free death benefit. But that's not why we're doing it. The reason we're doing it is because now that money that you use to pay all those things is still working for you. And because you have a loan, we're built in our heads, if we owe money, we're structured to pay it back. So if we owe money to our banking policy, we want them to be structured to pay it back. Not, I gotta make another payment. I gotta pay a life insurance. And once they go through it and start doing it, it gets easy. No, not most people don't do it like she does. I always tell people when I was young, if I came home from school with 4 Ds, I had to face my dad. But in order to do this, I tell them you need to have 4 Ds. First, you need to decide that you're going to do it. Then you need to make a decision. And you decide, then you need to, what's I can't remember. Desire. You have to have the desire to go through this. It's not going to be easy. So there's going to be times, just like now, with your debts, you got to be determined to hang in there and get through it. But the last D, I can't give you. You have to have it. And that's discipline. But if you can just do for yourself what right now we're all currently doing for some third party, if you can do that, you will be successful. It's guaranteed because the numbers just keep growing. It's all on you. And I use the term, everyone hears me say it, is you got to do your own push-ups.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I can tell you, I always use John Wooden. He won all those NCAA champions. He didn't go on campus dragging people in. It's like they wanted to come to that program because he was a winner. And granted, they all want to take that three-pointer at the buzzer and win the game. You know what he made them do? And they used to rag on him constantly. He made them make 100 layups at the end of practice. And he said, because we're going to set up the play to win the game, all we have to do is you need to make the layup. And he wanted, if you can just do the basics, you'll be successful. You don't have to make 30% in the stock market. What I like to tell people when they tell me that is your stockbroker or your financial advisor, and I'm not knocking them, have they ever told you how to make a 5,900% rate of return? I can show them, and it's all guaranteed. It's just using the infinite banking concept and understanding. But the rate of return, it really doesn't matter because you can't spend rate of return. The only thing you can spend is the money. But we get hung up on rates of return.
It's my son-in-law. I was telling him I'm going to lend them some money. And he said, and I just saw them. They live in Minnesota. And I had a trip up there, so I got to see them.
But why? Why are you lending it? It's not that they can't pay.
No, they can pay, but they want to buy a house and their debt to income ratio is too high. So this way it gets it away from, it comes off of their debt to income ratio. They'll still have the debt. And we have a contract, we're writing up a contract. And because I'm not going to do it, like Bruce says, it's going to be written out. Family, no family. It gets written out. But my son-in-law said, yeah, sitting there, he looks I just adore that man. He is such a good guy. And he looks and he goes, yeah, I really did have a hard time. I didn't want to, be borrowing money from you. We can, because they can pay it. I said, seriously? I said, you really rather give the finance company the interest than me? And he was like, okay, yeah, no. Because they also have their policy, but, they use it for other things, his business. So they couldn't, the debt was already there. So, when I said, you'd rather give it to them than me, I said, believe me, you're paying me back. I'm not letting you off the hook. And I'm going to make something also. I'm not going to just do it, and break even. I said, I'm still going to make something, but you're still going to save money and they'll pay it off even sooner than if they just left it with the finance company.
And the funny thing,
I love
that. I sat here because she goes, look, I want to give them a break, but, I want to make sure I don't lose either. So, of course, we all do this. I start sitting here because I know numbers. I'm starting to do a spreadsheet and everything. I happen to listen. I forget who it was, but I happen to listen to one of the Nelson Nash
Jason
Nuggets. I don't know if it was Jason, but somebody, it probably was Jason. He said something. He was way over there, but it made me think. And I went to ours. Just keep it simple. When you go talk to them, just tell them, you're going to make the same payment. We're not going to change the interest rate or anything. But when you get down to the last two payments, I'm going to forgive them. So they got a break. The debt to income ratio is off. And literally, if you really look at it, when I was talking about the 5,900% rate of return, her rate of return is going to be in the hundreds. Why? Because even though she loaned them a large amount of money, the cost is not the large amount of money because it's not her money. Just like a bank, her cost is the interest that the life insurance company is going to charge her. Well, the interest they're going to charge her is just slightly more than she's going to make in the deal. So she's going to make, a 90 or 110% rate of return. Give them a break. Everybody
wins.
Everybody wins. She's helped them. She's made money. And I got smart because I said, that's the easiest way. Just do everything you're doing. I'm gonna save you two payments. Who wouldn't want to do that?
That's so good. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Bill. I get it. I get excited and I love any chance to break any kind of stigma around the way that people normally think about money. Anything that allows us to keep more money in the family or that allows us to create the terms and conditions that are mutually beneficial for the family members that are involved. It's so good. But there is a lot of that. There is a lot of, whether it's propaganda or influence or how we were raised or whatever, there's just bad thinking around money. And anytime that we can just bust it in the chops, I want to do that. I love how you said that. It's like, I mean, just insert any name you want, the Wells Fargos, you'd rather them earn a great living than keep more money in the family. What's that about? Because we're just conditioned to think about it backwards. We're conditioned to think about it backwards. So I love that example.
But you know why? And for me, maybe not you, but my parents couldn't teach us about credit cards. That's why we have this problem today. Because when I was a kid, I remember my dad went to Wisconsin to visit one of my uncles with one of my uncles. And when he got home, I was about 16 at a time, and this is like the late 60s. He said, man, it's so good that Uncle Joe had a credit card because when we got to the airport in Milwaukee, we wanted to rent a car to drive to, Uncle Bob's, and I wanted to pay him cash, and they wouldn't take it. So that was like the beginning of the credit card era. So they really didn't know because my dad purchased only what he could afford. He didn't buy on credit. Then all of a sudden, as we grew up, we had credit cards and we get a $5,000 line of credit. And that $5,000 is like a $5,000 raise. How long is it before, I've heard it over the years, before that $5,000 is right here. And it never goes away. They just keep making payments. And, they say to themselves, they try to get a $10,000 raise. How long will it be till it's here? I see it over and over and over because no one's taught us that there's a better way.
Yeah, which just underscores what you said about doing your own push-ups. That's just the natural human tendency, and I've been there, done that. We tend to spend what we earn. That's what we got to fight against. And even people that begin this infinite banking journey, it doesn't go away. We still have Parkinson's law to fight off and to keep into check. So I don't know. You guys are making me curious at this point because you're sharing so openly. Is there anything that you think that I should have asked? I know I'll think of things afterwards. I'll be like, man, I wish I'd asked them about this, but it's just our first conversation. Is there anything else that you wish people would know about, your story that you think would be helpful or about infinite banking or something that you wished you would have caught on to sooner, perhaps?
You can do it. You just have to have the mindset. Just like they want a vacation, they'll put the money aside to go on that vacation. They want that new pair of shoes. They want whatever it is they want. They'll do it. And you can do it. And it's not difficult. And it will change your life and make it better. I really cannot tell you. My husband passed, and that's why I had the house. But, when it all happened, I sold the house, COVID hit. But in the meantime, I bought the house I'm in. The guy that was buying my house, I didn't close on it yet, backed out of the sale because he lost his job. 2 weeks later, I lost my job. Then I had 2 houses, no job. And what am I going to do? And I didn't have this then. But God watches over me, and he took really good care of me. And I just trusted. And if you just, do the next right thing, that's all. I mean, it's anybody, like Bill said, everybody could do this. It's for everybody, but it is for everybody, but not everybody can do it. But if you just have the right mindset, if you just change your thinking, rethink your thinking, which is not easy, but if you just rethink your thinking, you can do it. And it'll change your life too. I mean, my relationship with my kids, just myself, everything I took a month off from flying again because I don't want to fly. I want to stay home and I want to do this. So, it's the rewards are greater than you'll ever be able to imagine.
Yeah.
I love
So what
it.
I wanted to say, I don't know if it's a question, but Jason was being interviewed, and I happened to listen to the interview, and he told a story about he got into this. He said when he was 32, he said, I've been doing it actually a third of his life, because 16 years. He said, I've been doing infinite banking now. So obviously he's 48. I didn't know that. I do the math. But he said, when I got into it and I started to learn it, he said, I told my wife, for no reason in particular, I picked 45 years old. I want to pay the mortgage off when I'm 45. He said, his wife said, okay, if you want to do that, then we need to do a couple things. They ended up paying it off way quicker, way sooner. So he was so thrilled, he called Nelson. And he called Nelson. He said, Nelson, this is Jason. I just want to tell you, we paid our mortgage off. And Nelson, I don't know Nelson, but I've watched so many videos. I feel like I know him. He said, boy, you sitting down? He said, no, Nelson, I'm standing. Well, you might want to sit down. So, okay, I'm sitting, Nelson. He goes, you going to be an honest banker? Yeah, I want to be an honest banker. He goes, well, how long was that mortgage for? He said, well, up here in Canada, it's 40 years. He goes, well, I want you to continue to pay that mortgage. And he said, I told him, for 33 more years? And he said, well, if you don't have to pay that $1,800 mortgage anymore, where's that money going?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend it. And the point is, for all you people listening to Jesse's podcast, today his family has 77 banking policies. So everyone can do it.
I love Jason's his examples. Him, maybe particularly around the whole area of family meetings, working intergenerationally. He's just another one of those great examples. His son, his nephew, just things that they've shared. Great stuff. So I love that story right there. Y'all have covered so much ground. I still feel like we could cover so much more. You've been generous. You got an open invitation with me. I'd be happy to field anything in the future. More of your story to cover that. Maybe y'all could come in and sit on. I've got a round table series on my channel where I ask other professionals, and it could be clients or spouses. Just it's a mixed bag. Where we can field a lot of the topics actually that y'all have brought up. Kate, like you mentioned earlier, some people have this misconception about, well, I don't know if I could afford whole life. And then some other things that y'all have mentioned where we can just kind of discuss those. So I'll plant that seed now to you guys. If you'd like to sit in on something like that, I'd be happy to have you back. But tell people where they could best contact y'all, best reach y'all.
Well, how can they reach me? I guess they can go to our webpage. It's creatingwealthwithlife.com. Creatingwealthfromlife.com is one of them. We also have a YouTube page. I don't really post so much on there. I do post on LinkedIn. Most of the people the potential clients we get are, through either the church or other clients that they refer people, but
or they can call us.
I cut you off. Say it again, and then I'll also put it in the show notes, Kate.
954-937-5543 and 954-232-2191.
Fantastic. Got it. Yep. I'll put y'all's contact information in the show notes below. Anything else from you guys? Any questions for me or anything else you'd like to say? And then I'm going to switch over to these rapid fire questions and run those by y'all.
Now I'm nervous. I think we really appreciate being here. I've enjoyed this a lot and getting to know you as well. So thank you for that. No, I don't think right now I don't. You know how it is. When you try to think of something, you can't.
Yep, I do. Well, likewise, it's been my pleasure. This will be fun and it'll be easy. I'll ask you a real simple one first. What's a recent favorite book or podcast of yours?
Recent favorite book or podcast? Well, one of mine, well, I just have to becoming your own banker because I'm studying the practitioner program. So becoming your own banker. And I also really surprisingly love Carlos Lara's book, Privatized Banking. Yes, that's the one.
No, privatized banking.
Yeah, well, that was my favorite, is
Yeah.
becoming your own banker. Yeah, I don't have the other one
Yeah,
handy.
well, let me get up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
One second. Let me-
No, yeah, that's all right. How privatized banking really works by Carlos Lara, Robert Murphy, and then of course they give credentials to Nelson, of course.
And I've never been a financial person, Jesse. I mean, I don't understand, you know, sometimes I can't wrap my head around Bill can hear some numbers and things and he can just start going with it. I can do it. I mean, and I'm okay, and I'm good with it. I'm just not as quick as he is. But then especially with Bob Murphy's and Carlos's book, How Privatized Banking Really Works. Oh my gosh, the stuff I learned is just, and of course it all fits today. It's what's going on and how people just don't know what they don't know. It's really amazing. So those are really good books.
So
Yeah, I like that.
I'll go some rapid fire here. This one, Pitch Anything by Oren Claff. Briefly, the guy, he pitches big deals. And the reason I read this one, I did a presentation at church, and my friend who was doing this with me at the time says, Bill, that was a great presentation, but it's too long. Because we all do it like 45 minutes to an hour. And I was always fighting him. He goes, I know you got the book. We went together. Go read chapter 4. In chapter 4, he says, when I pitch things, I only go 20 minutes because people can't remember more than it. And he said, the other guys are doing an hour. And so I changed we did one for a real estate
Rapid
group.
fire.
We did 25 minutes and they asked us questions for 55. This one was really good. Paychecks and Playchecks by Tom Hager. A lot of people know him. And this one was great. Money Hacks. You can really increase. This guy has like over $1 million in credit card loans, so he can buy houses with his credit cards. So those are really good reads.
I love it. I always love getting feedback on what people are listening to or reading. Okay. Do you have a hidden talent that people may or may not know about?
She has a hidden talent. She gets me to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kate, there you go. Kate's Bill's hidden talent. That's for sure. No question about it. I feel like that's one of those questions that it's either going to be nothing, which would probably be the case for me, or something spectacular. So I've started adding that.
It surprises me because I don't know how it happens, but I can pretty much get along with everybody and just make them feel at ease. And I don't even understand how, but
I don't think that's a hidden talent. I'm pretty sure that's a superpower.
Except for one person.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about this one? How about one of your favorite quotes or sayings?
Too soon old, too late smart.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I always
Bill?
like Reagan's, you know, when the government knocks on your door, the most terrifying sound, the government knock on your door and say, we're here to help you. I always like that one.
I got you. How about, do you have a favorite Bible character?
Bible character? Oh, we knew that.
Oh, my head is just swimming. now.
Simon.
Matthew,
Okay.
Okay.
the tax collector.
Simon, because
Okay.
he told him, what did he tell him? Get behind me, Satan, right? When he was Peter, get behind me, Satan. And he still became the Pope. That's pretty cool. the first poll.
How about what's one of your go-to healthy habits? I mean, maybe for Bill it's the push-ups, but go-to healthy habits.
Go ahead, tell them. Measuring
He
peanut
just
butter.
always does that to me.
I never saw anyone measure peanut butter before.
One of my is to make time for yourself and walk. I like to walk. I like to take the time if I've got to get somewhere, and listen. And it's got really nothing to do with the carbon footprint. It's to just get out, breathe some fresh air, walk, and see smell the flowers, hear the birds.
Just a small walk, like 8 miles.
That's what I did this last week. 8 miles a day.
Nice, easy stroll.
Yeah.
When she flies, it's like 11, 12. That's what she walks.
I believe it. All right. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Yeah, sunrise. I'd have to say sunrise.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
That was quick. Okay. Picnic or restaurant?
Toss up there on that one.
Pancho Villas.
Restaurant.
Okay, that settled it. Flowers or plants?
Flowering plants.
There you go. Of course, you're looking for the best of both worlds. What is one of the best pieces of advice you were ever given?
The best pieces.
You don't have to go to college to get an education. You get it in the school of hard knocks. Came from my dad. Along with, when are you going to grow a brain?
Right.
One of the things I did is I removed word worry, and the action from my vocabulary. And people go, well, you worry about your kids. And I say, no, I can be concerned about my kids. I can be concerned about things, but worry is a waste of time.
Okay, that's my kind of answer. I love it. All right, let me end with this one. I got this one from my boys sitting at the supper table one night. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or fly?
Fly.
Well, I have a pilot's license. Haven't used it in years, but nothing like flying.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, take you a big breath. That's the rapid fire questions. We're done. I really do seriously appreciate y'all being so willing to jump on here, share your experience, and so quickly. I really do appreciate it.
You made it easy. Thank you.
Well, you know what? If one, the old saying, if one person hears it and gets saved by somebody and their life changes, you help one person.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, y'all have helped me. I said that from the start. This was for me, and then everybody else gets the secondary benefit. So I appreciate you guys. So like I said, for everybody that's tuning in, Bill, Kate's contact information, it's going to be below in the show notes. You can reach out to them there. You can always find me at durhamtalents.com. My hope is that you learn to live and leave a lasting legacy. Have a great day. Take care.
No, you're amazing. The way you just listen and your questions, it's not like you're trying to trip anybody up. It was really, I liked it. I've never done anything like this before. I never wanted to do anything other than fly, Jesse. Never. Flight attendant, that's all I ever wanted to do. And now, I don't care if I still want to keep it, but I love this. When you see how somebody's life changes, it's just an incredible, incredible feeling. And I love it.
Well, the nice thing is she has her daughters. My son has a policy also, but her daughters, they did it not because she told them. They did it, I think, because they saw mom is so different. And, that's the best proof. And now she sees it with them. Like, because she said, oh, my daughter's they're never going to really, no, I don't know, they ain't going to get it. And then the first one did it. And then, of course, once the first one did it, the second one saw, because they're about 9 years apart, right? 11 years apart. And the little one saw the other one. And theirs was interesting because, like everyone, they had money in the bank, they had debt, but they didn't want to use the money in the bank to eliminate the debt. They were doing like everyone, spoon feeding it.
Well, they were keeping it there because he has a business and he has to pay taxes.
Yeah.
So it was for
Yep.
taxes. So they didn't want to spend it because then when tax time came around, they wouldn't have it. And then they figured out, with this, I said, well, you really ought to think about doing this, Lex. I said one day, and that's pretty much the extent of what I would say to them. So I think like what Bill said, just the difference. And then they'd get in a position and little bits, at first it was like, well, what do you need? I'll help you. I can help you, and it was like, yeah, but Mom, it's a couple $1,000s. And I'm like, just whatever, let me know. And it's like, and I'm not wealthy beyond dream, beyond what you can believe, but it definitely changed my life. It's definitely
Right.
impacted my life. And like he said, I am frugal, I am thrifty, but I do pay this back. Sometimes it's easy to forget that the money has to go, but it's like, oh, no. It's just one more step. When I'm on there and I see that I got paid on the computer or on my phone, I automatically log into my portal for my policy, and I make a pay, whatever that is, I make a payment on my loan for that exact amount so it can get out of there as fast as possible. Out of sight, out of mind. People see it, forget it. It's gone.
Well, I love the diligence, and I think it's a great example to people because it does show just IBC is a lifestyle. That's just what you've adopted now. It's just an adopted lifestyle that puts you in a superior position. And I want to hear more about the family stuff in the future, Kate, moving forward, whether it's, in the IBC mastermind, anything that you would be willing to share there or whatever. I love getting those insights on family conversations around this stuff. Because I have kids, I'm looking forward to grandkids and on, and I'm trying to perpetuate this thing, right, to my boys and my little girls. So it inspires me to hear about other families.
I like that it's not selling, it's teaching. I just wish I was better at getting more people to do it because why didn't I know this when I was 45? Life would have been so different.
Sure. Well, I don't know if that part about wish we were better is ever going to go away. I certainly still feel that way. Want to figure out how to be the best I can be, keep working on myself. But then again, I already know too, though, and it is biblical that, not all the seed's going to take two. We're just in charge of putting the seed out there. Some's going to land on rocks. Some's going to be scorched by the sun. Some's going to be eaten by the crows. But some of it, I guess that saying of you can't say the wrong thing to the right person comes to my mind. And then the opposite's true. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I hope I said that out loud right. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If somebody's just ready to learn a new, better way, they're going to learn, right? And you can't say the right thing. Like I could get as good in my craft as I want to be. But if they're the wrong person, if they're not receptive, if they've got their ears closed, it's not going to help them anyway.
But everything's in the book. Even if you want to do a video, it's in the book.
Yep.
And I give him credit. He must have, well, not must have, he did. He just believed in what he had found. That, it was like, and even the apostles couldn't do it. The disciples, they saw a miracle, and then he thought, "You're letting me drown." He just saw this and knew it was going to work, and knew it would work for the people that would listen, and he didn't give up.
It's an interesting thing to think about when things cross our path, and I guess the only thing that I can temper that with, of course, wishing to have known it earlier was, well, what if I had have and I just wouldn't have been at an open-minded point to even look at the thing or consider the thing too. You know what I mean? Who knows if I'd have said yes that time? You know, what if I'd have said, nah, I'm too busy. I'm not even going to look.
It saved my life. And the funny thing is, my first client was actually my son. He was in Afghanistan. We got talking, and he started telling me, I had just gotten into it, and he started telling me, oh, this guy read this book, and it's about using life insurance for banking. He's going on, and I go, yeah, well, that's what I've started to learn. So he goes, oh, when I come back from Afghanistan, I want you to, talk to you about it. And when he came back, he was the first one. But I really wasn't doing infinite banking then. And he still has it today. He still uses it. He tells me I need another one now. I saw you talking to your son on, I forget what you were talking about, and you were out in the field. It must have been something you just posted. And he was going on, you were listening. He was like educating you. You must know what it was. It was something you were out in the field, and I forget, he had something in his hand or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but and you were listening. He was like going on. It's great when they're in that. Just my son. I'll tell you this, then I'll shut up, which is hard for me to do. My son was about 12. We had just gotten a computer. Was in the office, and I'm teaching him stuff. I'm showing him stuff, and he's going, "Oh yeah." And I go, "Billy, one day you'll be teaching me." So fast forward about 13 years in the future. He was home. He had gotten out of college. He was getting ready to go into the Marines. So he was home. He was downstairs, and I quick turned around and I ripped out of the CD holder or the DVD. I ripped it out of it was hanging out of the computer. So I go, "Billy, you got a minute?" He goes, "Yeah." He comes up. I said, "Can you fix this?" So he comes in. He's very technical. He shuts everything down, he fixes it, tests it. "Dad, test it. Make sure it's working." Yeah, it's working. He starts to go out the door, and he stops. And he says, "Dad, remember what you told me a while back? That one day I'd be teaching you?" He goes, "I guess today's that day."
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to ask me, though?
Well, you're in North Carolina, and you always are outside. And I mean, I love that because I love your setting. How long have you been involved in the infinite banking concept?
Yep, I saw the concept presented in 2015. So I was in the travel space at the time, and I had a buddy of mine who just called me up real excited saying, "Hey, I heard about this becoming your own banker thing. There's a guy going to be giving a talk, and a bunch of our friends are going. Do you want to come?" And I just happened to be at a real open-minded time in life because I just launched a new business. We had just had our second son. So I just had a lot of things in motion. I was very open-minded, thankfully. And I said yes, and actually threw 3 more people in the car with me and drove to this place, saw a presentation, had my mind blown, of course, and decided, yep, that's what I'm going to do from now on. So 2015 for me.
Very cool. And now are you in the practitioner program?
I'm not in the program yet. I'm not authorized yet. I started professionally, am I going on 6 years now? So I did it for just, 3, 4, 5, whatever years personally. Just buying policies, funding policies, using policies, paying off debt, financing vacations and real estate deals and just different things that we were doing in life. But then now, I guess going on 6 years or so, I've been a professional in this space. So I kind of started like the guy that I saw. So the guy that I saw, it's not before the practitioner program, but 2015 was, kind of just after it. So it just wasn't the same thing that it is now. But I do aspire to do the practitioner program.
So that's how you know Bruce then. Is Bruce your agent? Like
No,
for your initial policies or something? Or how'd you get involved with that?
Yeah. So
I'm asking too much. We've talked about this a little bit.
No. I don't mind you asking anything. So I saw the presentation that I saw from Brent Kessler of the Money Multiplier. So that's who I saw it from, and that's who I worked with. I was buying policies for my own use, like I said. So I got connected with Bruce because he found my YouTube channel. So Bruce just messes me somehow. He reached out to me somewhere. And of course I knew who he was. I'd listened to his channel. I couldn't believe that he had listened to mine and wanted to have a conversation with me, which was awesome. It's kind of like meeting one of your heroes. So I got to meet him on a Zoom call. Then I got to meet Becca, and then I got to meet you guys, which is how we're on the recording and the conversation today, which is pretty neat.
That's very cool. Yeah, because I just started the practitioner program. I didn't even know if I ever was going to really. So, and I don't think that if you don't do it, I don't think you're not qualified to be able to, or, teach the principles. But I don't know. It just felt right for me finally. So
I love it. I was happy to hear that you did as well.
What are we doing exactly today?
Yeah, because she's all nervous. Is her hand?
Well, you don't look nervous, and I was already thinking about that as I was texting Bill, the link and everything. I'm thinking, man, Kate's brave. She's not had a chance to jump on the phone with me. At least Bill and I had one phone conversation before jumping on the Zoom call together. So I just like to have an organic conversation, just like we're sitting around a fire pit in my backyard.
Sounds great. I can do that.
And they gave you the book, and I read it once, like everybody. And then for whatever reason, little by little, I read it more and more. And, I'm not going to say anything different than anyone else has said. The more I read it, the more I understood it.
If you got value on how to live and leave a lasting legacy from this video, do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up. Appreciate you. Live and leave a lasting legacy.